So in yesterday's class, what we have seen is the rectifiers, that circuits that enable conversion of AC voltage to DC voltage or AC current to DC current with the application of diode. Okay, so with that, and we got seen actually two types of rectifiers. One is the half wave rectifier, as the name clearly sounds. Only one half of the cycle is rectified, which means converted to the DC. We get a pulsating waveform from the rectifier output, from the diode output. However, when you apply to a filter, we can actually remove the pulsating thing. We will get nearly constant voltage with the application of filter. Now, when you put that filtered output from the filter to a regulator, we can get the constant DC voltage or DC current that we require for our appliances. Then we also saw what is called full wave rectifier. So the difference between half wave rectifier and full wave rectifier, half wave rectifier uses only one diode, and we know the diode conducts only in the forward bias. So in the reverse bias, the diode does not conduct. In other words, we are not entering into the breakdown region. Okay, fine. Now in the full wave rectifier, we have an AC input cycle consists of two cycles. One of them is the positive, the other is the negative. So in the half wave rectifier, only one half of the cycle, full cycle, is converted into DC, whereas in the full wave rectifier, both the halves is converted into the DC signal, which is the current flowing in the same direction. That is very important. It does not alternate between positive and negative. That is when we can call it is a direct current. As long as the current is flowing along the same direction after rectification, that means your circuit is okay. That is very important. Now, today we are going to see another configuration called bridge rectifier. Bridge rectifier. As the name sounds, bridge rectifier, we are familiar with this, what is known as the Wheatstone bridge, and there are several bridges in electrical circuit. And in the Wheatstone bridge, we use 4 resistances in certain in bridge-like fashion. Very similar. Here we use 4 diodes. Okay, and with that introduction, we'll proceed to the circuit. The circuit shown for the bridge rectifier is as follows. Now, you see here the input AC signal is applied to a transformer. The output from the secondary of the transformer is taken and fed to the bridge circuit. So here, diode 1, diode 2, diode 2, diode 3, diode 4. Okay, diode 1, diode 2, diode 3, diode 4. Okay, we can name either way, it doesn't matter. Now, the output, what is important is the output from the secondary of the transformer is fed to this bridge configuration, and the DC output is taken across this resistance R. Okay, so DC output is taken across the resistance R. Now, how does the circuit work? First, let us understand. After that, we will see. So, we know diodes conduct under forward bias. By now, this should be very clear without any problem. And it is, we call it on state. And under reverse bias, diode is off state, which means they are open circuit configuration. So there is no path for current flow here. In this case, it is short circuit after the 0.7 volt for silicon based diode, 0.3 volt for germanium based diode. If we take the constant drop model. Okay, so diode does not conduct Diode does not conduct. The difference between the full wave rectifier and the bridge rectifier, the first difference you can see in both of them, of course, we use a transformer, but to step down the input line voltage from 220 in India and 120 in or 110 in US. So typically that step down transformer acts. Now the clear difference that you can see, bridge rectifier does not use center tap. Center tap transformer. But the second difference that you see here is that bridge rectifier uses 4 diodes. Uses 4 diodes. We'll come to the advantage and disadvantage out of this resulting from this. First, let us look into the circuit. So the way the circuit operates. So in one half of the cycle, so my input is like this. So my input, AC input is like this. In one half of the cycle, this is positive. So this will be positive. And when this is positive, which of these 4 diodes are under forward bias? Only those 4 diodes under forward bias will conduct. So which means if you look at here, if this is positive, this fellow is positive, whereas this positive voltage is felt by the cathode of diode 4 and felt by the anode of diode 1. So diode 1 D1 conducts. D1 conducts surely. Positive half cycle. Positive half cycle. I take D1 conducts. Now what? When that conducts, this is positive, the current will flow in this fashion. Okay, the current will flow in this fashion. Now, so when it flows like this, now it sees there will be a positive potential here because this is Vs and up to here it will be Vs minus Vd, which will be positive, and the D3 cathode is connected to this Vs minus this thing, whereas this fellow is minus here. So this is more positive with respect to, so the cathode of D3 is more positive than the anode of the D3. So diode 3 does not conduct. So the only path for the current has to be in this direction. So it will flow like this and come like this, and then it says here, now this diode D2 is actually in the forward bias because there will be a positive potential here. This is negative, so there will be current flow will be happening like this, and the circuit will complete like this. So this is positive half cycle, the direction of the current flow. So which of the diodes are conducting? D1 is conducting and D2 is conducting. D2 is conducting. Okay, so D1 is conducting, D2 is conducting, and through the resistance R, the current flows from right to left. So right side is here. So the direction of the currents are shown like this. So it goes like this and comes like this. So right to left. Now you see here, the output is taken across from here to here. So V naught is taken always across R. We had seen that already. Okay. Now what about the negative half cycle? Let us look at that. Okay. So in the negative half cycle, okay, I will take the another slide here to explain that. So look at here. So this is my positive half cycle. So let us look at the negative half cycle. Which of the diodes? So diode D1, D2 conducts in the under the forward bias. Now under the first positive half cycle. Now because D1 and D2 is actually under the forward bias when positive half cycle input is felt by these diodes. So D3 and D4 does not conduct in this. So only two diodes conduct. That is clear. Now, it is not difficult for us to understand that D3 and D4 will conduct during the negative half cycle, as we will see shortly. So, only two diodes conduct in one half of the cycle. So, one cycle is from here to here. That is my time period. That is called one cycle. It consists of two equal halves, positive and negative. Now it is not difficult to see D3 and D4 conducting like this. See here, when this fellow alternates between positive and negative, now this will become positive, this will become negative. So this is under the application of negative half cycle input. So the current obviously will flow like this. Now here, as it seen, this is a positive potential and here this D, because whatever voltage is there, that voltage will be seen. This is positive in the negative, under the negative half cycle. So this D2, D3 will conduct. So the current will not flow through D2, but rather it will be like this. Now again, comes here, at this node, this D1 is actually reverse bias. Therefore, the current will only flow through like this. Now at this point, it will be, there is no current flow here. It is already, we said reverse bias. So it has to flow like this and it will complete over here. Okay, so the output is taken with respect to R and it is taken with respect to, so this is positive anyway, it is. So you have to see that thing, this is negative during this will be more positive, so the D2 will not conduct. Even if it is grounded here, D2 will not conduct. So you have to understand, D2 will not conduct, D1 will not conduct, whereas D3 and D4 will conduct and the current through R always flows like this. So notice very important fact here. So why the rectification process? Because notice that the current always flow through R from right to left. So in the earlier case also it was flowing from right to left, which means right is here, left is here. So right to left. Now also it is flowing right to left. So what does that tell you? So we have achieved unipolar current. Unipolar direction. Achieved in either half of the input cycle, either half of the input cycle. This is very important. So rectification is thus possible. So here we can see D3, D4 conduct, okay, and D1, D2 reverse bias, not conduct. Okay, so it is very clear that the current always flows. In the previous case also you see here, I have shown you that the current always flows in this fashion. You can see here, the current always flows from right to left, right to left. So this is my R, this is L, if you want to make it clear. So right to left it always flows. Okay, the output V0 is taken across R. So what will be the output? So D1, D2 conducting, D3, D4 does not. So the same fact remain. So we can see all of those things. Fine. So what you are seeing here? So you are seeing D3, D4 conduct in this negative of. So I want to write, make sure in this. So this sentence is different, this sentence is different. In this negative of cycle, negative of cycle, negative of cycle, D3, D4 conducts, D1, D2 does not conduct. Okay, not conduct. Okay, fine. So what is the output? The output is always taken. So already I told you that we have achieved the unipolar current, which means rectification process is seen and output is taken. What is the output in this configuration? The output here is, this is Vs when in the any of, let us take any half of this thing, this is Vs and here you will see there is a voltage drop. Okay, there is a voltage drop. So if you look at the voltage drop here, there are two diodes in forward bias, therefore output from this will be Vs minus 2Vd. Vs minus 2Vd. So earlier in full wave rectifier, we got in full wave rectifier, because there is only one diode operating, we got Vs minus Vd. But here we have two diodes in operation, therefore we got to subtract. So very small output will be smaller than little bit over here, but Vd we know cannot exceed beyond 0.7. So more or less, if you want to consider, you can consider fine that this is a disadvantage that we are getting a slightly lower output across the R. Okay, but that is not a big deal here. There are more important thing is we did not use center tap transformer. Okay, we use 4 diodes. Compared to the if you look at the from the cost point of view, the transformer is more costlier than the diodes itself, and diodes are very they are inexpensive. Therefore, we can use 4 diodes and we can get. Now, another important fact, with when you use center tap transformer, which means you are using effectively only for the, let us say I want to get 606. With a center tap transformer, in one half of there are, as I told you, there will be 2 secondaries with the center tap. Two secondary. In only one secondary will be used at any half of the cycle. So the other is not utilized. Whereas here, so for the same number of turns, okay, for the same number of turns, we can get 6 0 or 6 0. We can easily get without using the center tap transformer. That is another advantage. Now, what about the peak inverse voltage? What about the? So let us, before we go, let us look at the output waveform, which is not very difficult. So the output waveform is looking like this. So already I explained that we are getting a pulsating uniform unipolar current. Pulsating unipolar. Direction is very important. We have only current or voltage in the positive direction, not in the negative direction. The output is shown in the blue color. Pulsating unipolar current or voltage can be obtained in the output. Now, as I told you, because we are using two diodes, the peak voltage will decrease. So V0, I explained just now, it is the Vs peak, the input peak minus amplitude minus 2 Vd. So this height will be 2 Vd difference, which is shown here in this picture. Now we can see clearly it conducts. Now in entire this thing, we will see that we are able to utilize the full wave. With the full wave rectifier also possible, but the disadvantage is that on center tap transformer, we will be not using effectively one in any of the half cycles, we will not be using the other secondary. Whereas for the same windings, we can get, okay. So here, if I have to achieve 606 with center tap, I may have to say, I am just giving an example. Take an example like this. Let us say 100 turns is there. 100 turns will be there in each secondary. Whereas, so effectively, if you look at the center tap transformer, it will have effectively 200 turns, such that only one half is used. Whereas the same 100 turns, without taking center tap, I can produce that 6 volt input. Okay, so that is the story with this stuff. Now, what about the? So this output is discussed. Now, peak inverse voltage. Peak inverse voltage. Peak inverse voltage. What will be the peak inverse voltage? Now, if you look at peak inverse voltage, we have to look at in the consider the diode that will be in one half of the cycle, which will be under reverse bias. So let us take the consider the diode that will be under reverse bias. So let us take positive half cycle. So D3, for example, D3 will be in positive half cycle. D3 and D4 will be reverse. So let us consider this D3. For example, if we consider D3, the D3, it will see the cathode, D3 will see this potential at this point. So what will be the potential at this point? The potential with respect to ground, that will be V0. So first let us write D3, consider D3 as it is under reverse bias. Now the potential at this point, the cathode of D3 will see a potential of V naught. Now what about the anode? Anode of D3. So anode of D3, what will be the potential? That is what we have to see. Okay. So if you look at the anode of this thing, you will have to see this is under reverse bias, and this is definitely which means this is more positive than this, and this under negative, and their voltage drop across this will be minus Vd, but with respect to this point it will be at minus Vd, because that is the way it is. Okay, so you can clearly see that it will be at minus Vd. So what do you get here? What do you get here? So the potential difference for this diode D3, that will the interest, that will be the peak inverse voltage. That is the value under reverse bias. What is the maximum voltage that this diode D3 or D4 can withstand without entering into breakdown region? So potential difference of D3, if you look at it, it is the peak inverse voltage that you will see. It will be V naught minus of minus Vd, it will be plus Vd. Okay, so you have to understand, because you look at this is positive, this is negative. There is a potential drop across this when it is under forward bias. When it is under reverse bias, it will be the invert, that will be the minus. Now when I want to calculate the potential difference, cathode minus anode, I will get actually V naught minus of minus Vd, that will be V naught plus Vd. Okay, so what is the V naught value? V naught value we have seen already, it is Vs minus 2 Vd. Vs minus 2 Vd. So substituting for V naught in, this is my equation 1, this is my equation, okay, this is my equation 1, this is my equation 2, the way I explained. So substituting 1 into, we get PIV equal to Vs minus 2 Vd plus Vd, so it will become minus Vd. Now two things that I want to tell you here. One of them, look here, full wave rectifier, if I take full wave rectifier uses 2 diodes. So we get, and a center tap transformer. Center tap transformer, and here the output V naught will be equivalent to Vs minus Vd. So whereas bridge rectifier uses 4 diodes, and here my output will be equivalent to Vs minus 2 Vd. So slightly lowered, but this Vd is extremely small that we are able to accomplish what we need with the bridge rectifier, with the biggest advantage that we don't have to use a center tap transformer, which means with the same number of winding, we need double the winding in a center tap transformer. Only one secondary is used in a center tap transformer at any part of the cycle. But if we use without a center tap, we need only half of that winding. So get that clear. So bridge rectifier does not require a center tap transformer, and we can get very nearly same output, even though slightly lower with the bridge rectifier. Now the second thing, and diodes are inexpensive compared to the transformer. Now the second thing, peak inverse voltage, that is the maximum voltage that the diode can enter. So if I look at full wave rectifier configuration, the peak inverse voltage will be PIV will be Vs minus, okay, 2Vs minus Vd. 2Vs minus Vd, if you remember, okay. Whereas peak inverse voltage, here it will be Vs minus Vd. Look at here. It is Vs minus Vd. There it is 2 Vs minus Vd. Now look at, let my voltage be say 6 volt. Peak inverse voltage here, it will be 12 minus 0.7. That will be 11.3 volt. Okay. Whereas here the peak inverse voltage will be only 6 minus 0.7. It will be 5.3 volt. Now if I take any diode, I buy a diode and I know my breakdown, the peak inverse voltage is much lower compared to, it is only almost half of it compared to here. Okay, nearly half of it. So I will be safely operating the diode without entering into breakdown with a bridge rectifier configuration. So the peak inverse voltage is a big advantage for lowering of the peak inverse voltage through the use of the bridge rectifier is one of the another significant advantage that we can get out of a bridge rectifier configuration. Okay, so I will stop here. There are a couple of problems that I wanted to put. So probably we'll do that. I will come back to you on that.